Does Deuteronomy 22:5 prohibit women from wearing pants? Or does it prohibit them from going to war? Or is it something different entirely? Hey everybody, I'm Dan McClellan. I'm a scholar of the Bible and religion. Deuteronomy 22:5 is worded in a very specific and peculiar way. Literally, the prohibition is, "An item of a man shall not be upon a woman, and a man shall not wear an article of a woman." So there are two peculiarities here. The first is that both references are not just to clothes. One is to items and the other is to articles. The one to items seems like a broader category, and it refers to any kind of equipment or gear or clothing that pertains to the male sex. And then the reference to an article of a woman is a little more restricted. It seems to refer to like a mantle or a cloak or a robe or a piece of fabric or something like that that a woman would wear. So it's odd that we've got two different references going on there. Additionally, this wording in the first clause is odd. An item of a man shall not be upon a woman. Most translations say a woman shall not wear an item of a man or a man's apparel or something like that. But the author very clearly did not write that, and they very easily could have. Instead, they made an item of a man the subject of the clause. The prohibition is on the item of a man being upon a woman. The woman is not being prohibited from doing anything. It is the item of a man that is being prohibited. Both clauses treat the entity associated with the male sex as the subject who is being prohibited. So what on earth is going on here? Well, it seems like the goal here is to prevent the items associated with the male sex from violating this boundary that distinguished items associated with the male sex from items associated with the female sex. And this is obviously part of this concern for maintaining social cohesion and integrity and order by protecting the boundaries of the social hierarchies and conventions that had been established. And so if something is associated with the male sex, it must stay with the male sex. But here's the important part. There was a social hierarchy of domination, and agency only flowed downstream according to that hierarchy. It did not flow back upstream. So what the woman does is not really of concern to the author. It is only what the entities that occupy the pinnacle of the hierarchy do that's important, which is why the prohibition is only on the items and the men associated with the male sex. The agency of women is just not in view here. This is not about women going to war, even though those arguments have been around since Josephus and the Midrash and the Targumim. But what it's about is saying there are boundaries here, and men, you sit at the pinnacle of the social hierarchy of domination, and so it's your responsibility not to violate those boundaries, and so to prevent the contamination of the land or of the temple and the disruption of the social order.